Okay, so I just wanted to kind of do an update. It's been a little over a year now, and I just thought I'd do this update on this air compressor. I've gotten a few questions, and it's actually one of my most watched videos. Go figure. So it's been great. It's been running fine. I changed the oil a couple of times. The oil's a pain to change, by the way. The plug is right here, and so you got to let it drain. So I just put a piece of cardboard on here to kind of direct it off to the side. But short of that, it's not bad. It does a really good job. It's pretty quiet. It's been over a year. I've used it, several times a week, every week since. It still only takes a couple minutes to go from empty to full. So like a minute and a half, 2 minutes. I mean, and it's much quieter than my last compressor, so I do like that. My ears like that. So these are just some of the tools I've used with it. This paint gun. You can use these paint guns with it. Just be aware. I've been using it for my gas tank, like that one on the wall over there. You get about halfway through the gas tank, the compressor kicks on and stays on until you finish. But it will keep the pressure going long enough to do something small like that. You would definitely not use this compressor to do even. I suppose you could do, if you wanted to do your car fenders, 1/4 at a time. Yeah, but I wouldn't suggest it if you're going to do that. You can, however, connect another tank to it here. So I'm still trying to find one. This is, what is this, 10 gallon. You get that up to 30 gallons or 40 gallons between this and the second tank. Then, yeah, the guns will work fine, no problem. But as it is, with the 10 gallons, these are just for small projects, really small projects. These two air impact wrenches suck. Neither one of them will take the lug nuts off a car. I torque all my lug nuts to 100 foot-pounds because that's just what I was told once, and they will not remove the lug nuts at 100 foot-pounds of torque. However, so what I do use them, what I do is I'll break the nuts free and then use them to pull them all the way out and then run the lug nuts all the way in. They're good for getting rusted nuts off. So if you've got a bolt or a nut that's rusted, and if you can break it even just a little bit with a breaker bar, these will get that off. And I found a couple of times where I couldn't even budge it with a breaker bar. Just the hammering action of these broke it up enough to get them off. I've had a couple of people message me on YouTube saying that they have actually, one had a snap-on and the other one had a Craftsman or something like that. Anyway, they were able to do the lug nuts. So I think this is good at power tools impact wrenches, but you have to have a good one. Don't skimp out on the impact wrenches like I did. This is a Central Pneumatic one. This was another one that was given to me. It's a different brand name, but if you look, they're basically the same frickin' deal, and they both behave the same. So, it is what it is. I'm hoping to get a name brand one. I mostly work on small engines, so it's not that big a deal. But if you're thinking about getting this compressor, I would highly recommend it if you're just a weekend mechanic working on your own cars, and you can invest in decent impact wrenches, or you have a set of decent impact wrenches. This is a good bargain. I mean, for what I paid for that air compressor, I'm really happy with it. This, obviously, a nail gun. It does brads up to, I forget the size of the nails you can use. Right now, I don't think I have any nails. Yeah, so these are the nails I have in it now. But it does brad nails mostly, and what I use it for mostly is carpet staples. And you can go all day long with this and on the compressor, and it doesn't even, it'll kick on maybe once. These, I can take all 4 tires off before I run out of air. So, kind of gauge that however you want. But it's really good. I mean, if you've got a number of bolts to take off and they're say 6 of them or whatever, and they're already loose. You just need to run them out with these. It'll get it no problem before it runs out of juice. And then I got the air gun, so I got that with it, and works fine. You know, I have no complaints. I also got that with it, but this broke apart after a year of use. This plastic piece right here just shot off one day when I was filling a tire. Luckily it shot out away from me, but still. So I'll get another one of these, but I'm going to get maybe a dial gauge one or something, so that if it breaks, it isn't going to kill me. So, but again, and then I've got an airbrush, for doing fine detail work. I've only used it a couple times just for practice, just to see. Obviously, this thing can run it all day long without kicking on. You have to be careful though. This does seem to build a lot of water in the tank, so once a month I crack it open and let it drain out. I let it go a couple months once, and there was a big puddle of water underneath. So, depending on your climate, but keep an eye on that. I do need a filter in here if I'm, for these, but the problem is I can't justify the cost given how little I use these. So, I might one day get a filter in there to trap the water, but anyway, for the most part, I couldn't recommend it enough, especially if it's on sale. You can't go wrong. If you can get an older compressor with a separate motor and one of the, whether they call them 2-stage ones, I would do that. It's going to be even quieter than this one, but if you're looking to get a new one, this isn't bad. And like I said, you can always add another tank onto it. I found a couple of tanks, but none I liked, because basically this is going to sit under my I'm going to redo my my workbenches, and I'm going to put this under there, and I want another tank this size, another 10-gallon one like this, to go next to it, so I'm not taking up any more room than I need to. And that'll give me 20 gallons of air, and that's plenty for me. And so I'm being very picky about the second tank, but you could probably modify a hot water tank if you wanted to. But you can see it's kind of dusty. I've been using it a lot today, clearing out, getting dust off of things. But anyway, that's all I have to say, and that's kind of the final word on this as far as I'm concerned. It's been over a year. The thing functions just like it did brand new, and I couldn't be happier with it, man. It's pretty good. So, bye.